The Chicago White Sox lost the Miami Marlins in the series finale, and they lost the series. Horrible games for the bullpen on Saturday and Sunday. Sox starting pitching was impressive against the Marlins. Tim Anderson whiffed on a ground ball in a critical situation again, and Jake Burger had a rough series. Sox have an off day to be thankful. They are in the AL Central as they head out west to get ready for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome back to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong die-hard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTV. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Chicago White Sox take on the Los Angeles Dodgers on Tuesday. Lance Lynn is on the hill. Catch every pitch of the White Sox hometown broadcast with Sirius XM on the SXM app. Search White Sox. State of the Sox. They are 29-38, 4.5 games back in the very, very forgiving AL Central. White Sox, they lost the series against the Marlins. Gut punches Saturday, Sunday, heartbreaking how it happened. Bullpen meltdowns in the ninth on Saturday and Sunday. Sox walked it off on Friday thanks to Luis Robert Jr., but then that scorcher on Saturday, hot one. But you got a Hawaiian shirt out of the deal if you were there. Very comfortable Hawaiian shirt. Talk a little bit more about that game later in this episode. So White Sox June record 6-3. Burger in the series 1 for 12 with 6 strikeouts. He came alive briefly on Sunday, but rough go of things against the Marlins. Arise. So the return of Luis Arise, saw him quite a bit when he was in a Minnesota Twins uniform. He is having a great year. He went 4 for 13 in the series. He's got his hits. It's tough to keep him down. Miami had a few guys that were just pesky. Not an offensive juggernaut at all, but they definitely had some guys. Soler, man, he could put a charge into one if you leave it middle, as White Sox pitching did. Sox starting pitching. Let's talk about them, though, because that was a highlight in my mind in this series. 2 earned runs, 18 innings pitched. You had Cease going 6 innings, 1 earned run in the opener. Michael Kopech on Saturday, the Hawaiian shirt day. Scorcher on the south side, 5 innings, 0 earned runs. And then Giolito in the series finale, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Again, we'll go into the details later, but that was, silver lining, bright spot, whatever you want to call it. Nice outings Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Marlins. White Sox offense, 8 runs in the series, 23 hits. Sox with runners in scoring position in the series, 5 for 21. They looked lifeless for, I don't want to say a majority of the weekend, but I mean, there were spurts where it's just nothing was going on. And then they scored some runs, and then the bullpen failed them. Friday, exciting game, some fireworks, and then more fireworks, and then the weekend just fell flat. It would have been a different story if they held on Sunday going into that day off with a big series against the Dodgers, then Mariners. Coming into the Marlins series, a 21-15 record for the White Sox over their last 36. and a 5-1 mark in June. Percentage points ahead of Detroit in third place for the first time since April 16th when they were 6-10. Sox had won 2 straight series. So coming in, feeling pretty good, entering that game on Friday. The AL Central does not feature a team with an above 500 record. Twins are, I believe, at 500, which again is keeping the White Sox alive for now. Let's start with Sunday. That's fresh. Unfortunately, Sox lose to the Marlins 6-5. Tim Anderson did not play. Liam Hendriks went on the 15-day IL. So Liam Hendriks retroactive to June 10th with right elbow inflammation. Sox recalled left-handed pitcher Tanner Banks from AAA Charlotte. Hendriks, 34 years old, is 2-0 with a 5.40 ERA, 3 strikeouts and 1 save over his 5 appearances this season after being reinstated from the IL on May 29th. Banks, 31, he's 2-0 with a 3.13 ERA, 3 walks and 30 strikeouts over 13 relief appearances with Charlotte this season. He's also gone 0-0 with a 3.38 ERA and 5 strikeouts and 4 relief appearances over 2 stints with the White Sox this season. A tough one. Not terribly surprised, unfortunately, about the Hendriks situation with the elbow. Throwing a lot of sliders that can put some strain on the elbow, especially if he, didn't have a lot of practice at full speed with that pitch. The adrenaline, maybe throwing harder than he should so early on. I don't know. I don't want to make any excuses for him. He is a warrior. Hopefully he just comes back quickly. But what we know about Liam Hendriks is that he will not be denied. We just have to be without him for a little while in the bullpen, and that is going to be a problem, I think. Let's go to the 5th inning in Sunday's game. Giolito threw a center cut fastball to Soler, and he did what he should do with it. Crushed it for a solo home run. It was 1-0 Miami. Go later on in the game to 5th inning. You got Clint Frazier, who's up to bat. Miami had Garrett on the mound. He just walked Sebi. And Frazier at bat with the White Sox down 1 run. You got guys at second and first. And Frazier swung at the first pitch he saw and grounded out. I thought he would at least take a pitch with the Sox being down. You've got a guy in scoring position. Really, with the offense scuffling, you need to make this happen for you. I thought that was a little too aggressive, something that uncharacteristic of Clint Frazier, who sees a lot of pitches and he'll take his walks. But 6th inning, here come the White Sox, back-to-back doubles by Andrew Vaughn and Jake Berger. Romy Gonzalez, 2 RBI double, 3-1 Sox. 7th inning, Luis Robert Jr., 2-run home run, 15th of the year. That made it 5-1 Sox. I'll tell you, I was listening to some of this on the radio when this was all going down, and I was feeling pretty good. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen again, what happened on Saturday. And then bullpen meltdown in the 8th and 9th innings. Middleton, Graveman combined went an inning and 2/3, 4 hits, 5 runs, a walk, 1 strikeout, 3 home runs. Bottom of the 9th, Sox go down in order, 3 ground outs. Absolutely pathetic, deflating. Giolito, wow, great start. A gutsy outing by Giolito. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, 8 strikeouts, gave up a home run to Soler. His ERA now 3.54. He threw 101 pitches. Why I call it gutsy is, he got himself into some jams and he got out of jams, and he didn't have an offensive cushion. It's not like he had a little bit of a lead or, it was tough. He could not make mistakes. And I was looking at his pitch count after 4 or 5 innings, and I was like, I don't think so. Upper 60s. I don't know if he's going to make it much longer. And he went 7, which is something I wanted to see him go. After the last episode, I said, previewing the weekend, I got to see Cease at least go 6 innings or more, and he did that. Disappointed a little bit with Kopech's 5, but he threw a ton of pitches. A hot, steamy day on the south side. Giolito, I liked his outing. Sox offense on Sunday, 5 runs, scored in the 6th and 7th, had 7 hits, 4 extra base hits, 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So very hot day on Saturday at 35th and Shields. Hey, outstanding Hawaiian shirt, though. Crushing 9th inning collapse. More on that in a moment. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can make sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the parts fit right and they are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, exclusions apply. The White Sox face off against the Dodgers on Tuesday. Catch every pitch of the White Sox hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search White Sox. On Saturday, Sox lost to the Marlins 5-1. Again, Hawaiian shirt day. Look, I'm not kidding around. These were one of the most comfortable Hawaiian shirts they've given out. I think this might be the 5th year the White Sox have been doing it. Very cozy, very comfortable. Hopefully you were able to lock one up if it's your thing. I love a good Hawaiian shirt, and I feel like I'll be wearing this quite a bit this summer. Kopech was on the mound. Hot day. Kopech, Gregory Santos, and Ronaldo Lopez combined to hold the Marlins scoreless for 24 outs. Kopech was at 61 pitches after 3. Vaughn had a solo home run in the 4th. Again, not a lot going on offensively at all. It was good to have that home run. You're like, well, Friday they hung on. It was a low-scoring game. But can you really do that again? Can you really live this way with not a lot of offense? Would that one run hold up? Maybe it was just going to be a pitching battle this weekend. Marlins have got some pretty good arms. Sox starting pitching for the most part, aside from Lance Lynn, has been reliable. So bottom of 6, Sox up 1-0. I thought they could get another one here. Benintendi had a leadoff with a walk. Then thrown out, trying to steal second. Sox have been making attempts to try to steal, but I feel like they've been thrown out more times than at the beginning of the year. Luis Robert Jr. flew out. Vaughn was hit by a pitch. Moncada flew out. Sox with just 3 hits after 6 innings on Saturday. Lopez came in for Santos in the 7th and walked the first batter he saw. Then painted the corner with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball to get an inning-ending strikeout. Had an opportunity in the 8th to add on with Elvis Andrus stole second with 1 out. Benintendi flew out to left field. Andrus got doubled up at second base. So here comes the 9th. The Sox holding on to this 1-run lead. A very reliable Joe Kelly comes in the 9th. First 2 on with base hits, then a walk, bases loaded, nobody out. Once again, you got a chopper hit to Tim Anderson in a critical situation. He misplays the ground ball that needed to be fielded and thrown home for the force. He was trying to do something before he actually fielded the ball. It went right past his glove. We've seen it happen 3 or 4 times. That same situation, infield somewhat in, you need to go right to home to get the force. He's trying to do too many things at once, and it goes past him. Inning continues. Miami tied it up. Still nobody out. Joe Kelly walks in the lead run, so it's 2-1 Marlins. Still loaded. Still nobody out. Another run came in on a fielder's choice. Grifol finally decides to pull Joe Kelly. It's 3-1 Marlins. Crochet in. Marlins busted open with 2 outs, 5-1. An absolute mess of an inning. Kelly, TA, pretty bad combination. Can't put it all on Tim Anderson. Joe Kelly has got to get those outs. We're going to talk a little bit here soon on just 9th inning Joe Kelly, which is a different type of Joe Kelly. But Tim Anderson has to make that play. There's no excuse for him. There's no excuse that maybe he made a good play on Friday. And, well, no, every single time that play needs to be made. And it hasn't quite often. Whatever is going on offensively with Tim Anderson, he's bringing it out to shortstop. I think I tried to rush the throw, Anderson said after the game. I knew they had a fast runner at third. I really just tried to rush it. I just expletive it up. That's really what it was. Again, maybe the 4th time he's done something similar this year. Slow down. You'd think after the 1st or 2nd time, it's like, okay, I got to be very mindful. One thing and then the next thing. I would not expect that from a guy like Tim Anderson. But again, I'm not surprised. He's not going to win you a Gold Glove defensively. That's for sure. They were good at bats, Joe Kelly said of the Marlins' approach. The pinch hitter Garrett got him 0-2, got a good hit. Arise got a hit away, and the other guy started battling. They were swinging at anything out of the zone before Saturday's collapse. Kelly had been pretty reliable. I think 15 innings, 15 outings, maybe a 3 ERA, maybe less. He has been very dependable. But the 9th inning is not his inning. Michael Kopech on Saturday, 5 innings, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts. His ERA 4.03 through 100 pitches on Saturday. And the bullpen, really, I'll talk about Kelly. He went a third of an inning, 2 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 0 strikeouts. And then, of course, you've had that Tim Anderson error. So Kelly in the 9th inning this year, 6 games, 5 1/3 innings, 10+ ERA. Kelly in the 8th, absolutely lights out. I don't believe Hendriks was available, nor was Graveman, perhaps workload management for Graveman. Sox offense on Saturday, 1 run, 5 hits, 2 extra base hits. Andrew Vaughn had that home run to right center. 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, the White Sox offense was. Before the game, Grifol noted that he'd like to avoid using relievers 3 days in a row. This is a long season, and the most important thing in this season is health, Grifol said before the game. I'm not going to risk these guys' health and compromise our potential to have a good season just based on throwing 3 days in a row or 2 days in a doubleheader. It wasn't a good day for us in the 9th inning today as a team, Grifol said post-game. Yeah, that is a difference. The workload management stuff with relievers, it sounds like he's trying to play for tomorrow instead of trying to take care of today. And the Sox are going to be a team that are going to win on the margins, the little things. And you've got to nail down a 1-0 win like that on Saturday. You got to close it up. Nobody was scoring. You've got an opportunity. You got a home run. You've got the lead going into the 9th. You've got to nail it down. Same thing goes for Sunday. Just absolutely unacceptable to be up 4 runs and blow it in the 8th and 9th. That just, you can't have that kind of stuff. And the AL Central has been so forgiving. And they're going to let us continue to hang around because no one's going to run away with it. All right, we're a little over 70 games in the season. And we know now that nobody's running away with this. It's just not that type of division. So the White Sox, they're going to find themselves 4 or 5, maybe 6 games out, something like that by the trade deadline. We'll see what happens with the rest of this June and July schedule. But wow, you can't live like that. You absolutely can't live like that. And I need Grifol to somehow change a mentality or have some conversations. We got to have guys that can throw a few days in a row, and with Liam going down now in the 15-day IL, if that's all it's going to be, the options are few and far between. You're going to have players, bullpen arms, they're going to start going into now other spots that they're not comfortable with because we don't have our ninth inning guy. Not that we had him for very long. They have to figure it out. These are Major League Baseball pitchers. These are bullpen guys. I know Joe Kelly doesn't like the ninth. He doesn't perform well in it, but these guys are going to have to figure it out because you're going to have to get by. You can't just survive. We're going to have to thrive as well. Dylan Cease and Sox pitching held it together to kickstart the weekend, and Luis Robert Jr. kickstarted the fireworks. More on that in a moment. So on Friday, it was an exciting game, 2-1 finish. Look, a win is a win. Pitching battle, really, Cease and Perez. Prior to the game, Pedro Grifol said Eloy Jimenez will be down for 4 to 5 days, but they are looking to avoid the IL at this point. Described it as discomfort just below the left calf, as came on over the course of the doubleheader. It looked like he had injured himself swinging and then trying to leg out, an infield hit that was overthrown, and then he was gingerly jogging to second and was removed from the game. And look, again, I personally, as a Sox fan that has been following this guy particular over the last several years, I can't put a lot of trust in what we're going to get from him down the road here. We've got enough information. He is injury prone. I don't care what Kenny Williams or Rick Hahn say. Eloy Jimenez is injury prone. And no matter what you're going to do with him, DH, right field, swing, run, I mean, something happens to this guy. It's unbelievable. I don't know if he rushed back from the appendectomy too quickly, if he was trying to use muscles that overcompensate, for maybe feeling a little weaker from that operation. I don't know. I am kind of tired of making excuses for the guy. Whatever you can give us, great, but it's not somebody to build around. Absolutely not. This is not a cornerstone that we can say, yeah, we're going to have Eloy Jimenez in our lineup for many, many years. I just don't think so. Not after everything we've seen. It's really unfortunate. Cease, with his 14th start, was on the mound. This is what he said prior to the Friday start. I've definitely had some very frustrating moments with it, but I try to be level-headed, Cease told the Chicago Sun-Times on Thursday. I haven't pitched to how I want to, but we still have some time to turn that around. That saying right there is going to grow old quickly. We still have some time to turn it around. That sounds very familiar. We've heard that before in previous seasons. Time is ticking. Do not use that as a saying. That's not the right mentality. Marlins had runners on second and third with one out, and the score tied at 1 in the 6th. White Sox brought the infield in, and Jesus Sanchez hit a hard grounder to shortstop Tim Anderson, who fielded and threw home to cut down the lead runner at the plate. Grifol called it the play of the game. I don't know. Maybe he was feeling a little too confident. Hey, I did this on Friday, and that's why Saturday happened. I have no idea. There's no excuses. Game was tied 1-1 in the 9th inning. On Friday, Elvis Andrus singled to start the inning and went to second on a wild pitch. Tim Anderson struck out before the Marlins decided to intentionally walk Benintendi. Then Luis Robert Jr. came up to the plate. Slugger was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts prior to that at bat, but he put his previous plate appearances behind him and turned on a slider to send a single down the left field line and walk it off. 35th and Shield. Cease on a post game. It's a lot easier to be positive when you're winning, starter Cease said. Really, we're just continuing to put in the work and following the process and staying even keeled. When it wasn't going our way, we were still putting in the work and the results weren't going our way. Now we're finally starting to see some more normal results. Felt good, C said. I don't know if I'd say a bounce back. I think it's just a good continuation of going in the right direction. Cease's final line, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, a couple of walks, 7 strikeouts, 1 home run. His ERA 4.38. He threw 95 pitches in the game 1. Bullpen was Middleton, Graveman, Hendriks. 3 innings, 0 hits, 0 walks, 0 strikeouts. That was a nice job by the bullpen on Friday. And because of that, Middleton, Graveman, not available on Saturday. Sox offense on Friday, game 1, 2 runs, 11 hits, 2 extra base hits. Tim Anderson had a double, Yaz with a home run. Sox were 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position up until, again, that Luis Robert Jr. hit in the bottom of the 9th. It was ugly for the White Sox. Sox had bases loaded, nobody out in the 3rd inning and could not do anything. I'm sure you have heard that before. 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. Berger was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts on Friday. White Sox have an off day on Monday, then 3 at the Los Angeles Dodgers, 3 at Seattle, and then come home for 3 with the Texas Rangers. We are going to find out very quickly what kind of team the Chicago White Sox club is here in June. Thanks for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast everywhere you find your podcast. We're on Twitter at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get your questions in for a future mailbag episode, lockedonsox@gmail.com. White Sox take on the Dodgers on Tuesday in LA. Catch every pitch of the White Sox hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search White Sox. Hey, thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen every day. Hey, everydayers, know who you are. On the next episode, I will try to make sense of what have we been seeing lately from our White Sox and get you ready for the Dodgers series. Appreciate you making time for the Locked On White Sox podcast. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.